Are you terrified to die average? Because most people will, they'll be forgotten, unseen, unheard, unaccomplished, not because they lacked talent, but because they lacked the mindset, and that mindset is everything. Chapter 1. Mediocrity is a mindset. Most people are trained to think small. They are told to be realistic, to not aim too high, to settle early, to pick safety over potential, and they accept it. They treat average like success. They celebrate survival like it's achievement. That's the trap. They don't even see it as a trap. But I do, because mediocrity starts in the mind. It's the belief that staying the same is good enough. It's the idea that you don't need to improve, that comfort is more important than growth, that pleasure now is worth more than pride later. That's what they feed you. That's what they want you to believe. Because mediocre people don't cause problems. They don't rebel. They don't rise. They don't break systems. They follow. They scroll. They consume. They obey. You can see it in their eyes. Lifeless. Directionless. Dead before they're dead. I refuse to live that way. And you should too. But to escape mediocrity, you have to kill the thinking that leads to it. You have to kill it from the root. That starts with how you think. Not what you want, but how you think. Because thoughts shape effort, and effort shapes reality. Chapter 2. Think like a threat. Most people think like prey. They think about avoiding pain. They think about getting approval. They think about being liked. I think like a threat. Not emotionally, but tactically. A threat doesn't chase applause. It studies the room. It watches. It waits. And then it moves when the moment is right. Thinking like a threat means you value power over popularity. You value silence over noise. You value accuracy over speed. You don't need to be liked. You need to be effective. You don't need to be seen. You need to be in control. That's how I move. I don't react. I don't chase. I calculate. I observe. And then I strike. That mindset alone separates you from 90% of people. Because most people think emotionally. They make decisions based on what feels good now. I make decisions based on what gets me further later. That's the difference. That's the edge. That's the beginning of domination. Chapter 3. Observation is power. Everyone wants to talk. Few know how to watch. Few know how to shut up. Few know how to read a room. That's why they miss everything. They miss signs. They miss danger. They miss leverage. Because they're too loud to learn. I live in silence. Not because I'm afraid, but because silence is my surveillance. I see what others ignore. The hesitation in someone's voice. The shift in someone's eyes. The insecurity in their tone. All of it is data. And I collect it constantly. Because information builds dominance. If you know how someone moves, you know how to beat them. Most people reveal everything within the first few minutes. I don't. I give them nothing. Because the less they know, the less they can use. This is how I win. Not by being louder, but by being sharper. Not by being seen, but by seeing. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to shut up and pay attention. Chapter 4. Emotions must be trained. Most people are emotional slaves. They feel something and act instantly. They get insulted and they snap. They feel fear and they freeze. They feel sad and they stop. I don't let emotions lead me. I train them. I feel them. But I don't follow them. Because emotions lie. They twist your thinking. They blur your vision. They make you weak. So I detach. I slow everything down. I pause. I breathe. And I think. Because feelings aren't facts. They're just signals. Signals I get to control. Most people treat every emotion like an emergency. But not every fire is worth putting out. Sometimes you let it burn and keep walking. That's power. That's control. And that control is rare, but it's not gifted, it's trained. Every day, every moment, through awareness, through resistance, through pain. Because emotional discipline is the foundation of strategic power. Chapter 5. Be quiet, but be calculated. Silence is not weakness, it's a decision. I don't talk unless there's purpose. I don't explain myself to everyone, because most don't care. They just want to judge. They just want ammo. So I say less, and listen more. People expose themselves with time. Their words reveal their needs. Their tone reveals their fears. And all of it is useful. So I stay quiet. But I'm not idle. I'm listening. I'm watching. I'm planning. Every word I don't say becomes leverage. Every move I don't explain becomes mystery. And mystery keeps you in power. They don't know how I think. They don't know what I'll do next. And that unpredictability gives me control. Because predictable people get outplayed. But the quiet ones get underestimated. And that is always an advantage. Chapter 6. Discipline over desire. I don't feel like doing it, but I do it anyway. That's discipline. Most people wait for motivation. I wait for nothing, because I don't need to feel like it. I need to be it. Discipline means you act without needing a reason. It means you train even when you're tired. You execute even when it's boring. You show up even when it's hard. Desire fades fast. It's emotional. It's unstable. Discipline is different. It's rooted. It's consistent. It's built through repetition. I make systems. I follow them. Without debate. Without emotion. Without delay. That's how you separate from average. Because average people act when they feel like it. Elite people act whether they feel like it or not. And that's what changes your life. Chapter 7. Detach from approval. I don't need to be liked. I don't need to be understood. Because needing those things makes you weak. Approval chains you. It blinds you. It bends your will. So I remove that need. Now I move in truth, not in validation. People who fear being disliked will always betray themselves. But I don't betray myself. I let people misunderstand me. I let them talk. I let them assume. While I build. While I execute. While I win. Because real power doesn't come from applause. It comes from peace. And you only find peace when you no longer need permission. So stop asking for it. Stop chasing likes. Start becoming the man you respect. Chapter 8. Become mentally untouchable. The strongest man in the room is the one who cannot be broken. Not by stress. Not by pressure. Not by failure. Because his mind is built like armor. That's what I train. Not just body, but mind. Every insult, every loss, every setback, I use it. I store it. I harden from it. And then I move forward with even less emotion, even more control, even more force. You don't break me by hurting me. You strengthen me, because I expect pain, I expect betrayal, I expect loss, and I train for all of it. So when it hits, I do not fold, I do not panic, I do not stop, I rise colder, sharper, and more focused. Chapter 9. Think in long-term layers. I don't live for today. I don't chase pleasure now, because I'm playing a long game. Most people trade years for moments. I trade moments for years. That's how I win. I delay what they chase. I build what they ignore. I plan when they party, and later, they admire what I built, while they struggle to start, because I was already deep in motion. You don't need to rush. You need to endure. Patience is a weapon when paired with work, and that's how I think, layer by layer, step by step, quiet, unseen, and then suddenly, unstoppable. Chapter 10. Think like me, and escape the trap. Most people don't fail because they're weak. They fail because they think like the weak. They think like followers. They think like consumers. They think like cowards. But I don't. And you don't have to either. It starts with your mindset. How you see pain. How you handle silence. How you treat emotion. How you build habits. How you value time. All of it matters. Because your mind is the command center, and if it's soft, you will be average forever. But if you sharpen it, if you harden it, if you master it, there's nothing you can't build. Think like me, and you will never settle again. Final thoughts. Your life is shaped by your thinking, and your thinking is shaped by what you tolerate. Stop tolerating average. Stop thinking like everyone else, because everyone else is broke, lost, weak, and stuck. Think like me. Move like me. And build the kind of life that makes mediocrity impossible.
Be elite, stay elite.